Drivers, written by Ruskin Bond. The number of interesting people I meet on the road is matched only by the number of interesting drivers who have carried me back and forth in their chariots of fire. The last to do so, the driver of a Qualis, must have had ambitions to be an air pilot. He used the road as a runway and was constantly on the verge of taking off. Pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers of smaller vehicles scattered to left and right, often hurling abuse at my charioteer, who seemed immune to the most colorful invectives. Trucks did not give way, but he simply swerved around them, adopting a zigzag approach to the task of getting from Delhi to Dehradun in the shortest possible time. There is no hurry, I told him more than once, but his English was limited, and he told me later that he thought I was saying, please hurry. Well, he hurried and he harried until at a railway crossing where we were forced to stop, an irate scooterist came abreast and threatened to turn the driver over to the police. A long and heated argument followed, and it appeared that there would soon be a punch up when the crossing gate suddenly opened and the Qualis flew forward, leaving the fuming scooterist far behind. As I do not drive myself, I am normally the ideal person to have in the front seat. I repose complete confidence in the man behind the wheel, and sitting up front, I see more of the road and passing scene. One of the Mussoories' better driver is Sardar Manmohan Singh, who drives his own taxi. He is also a keen wildlife enthusiast. It always amazes me how he is able to drive through the Sivaliks on a winding hill road and still be able to keep his eye open for denizens of the surrounding forest. See that cheetal, he will exclaim, or what a fine sambar, or just look at the elephant. All this at high speed, and before I have had time to get more than a fleeting glimpse of one of these creatures, we are well past them. Manmohan swears that he has seen a tiger crossing the road near the Mohand Pass, and as he is a person of some integrity, I have to believe him. I think the tiger appears especially for Manmohan. Another wildlife enthusiast is my old friend Vishal Okhri, of State Bank fame. On one occasion, he drove me down a forest road between Hardwar and Mohand, and we did indeed see a number of animals, cheetal and wild boar. Unlike our car drivers, he was in no hurry to reach our destination and would stop every now and then in order to examine the footprints of elephants. He also pointed out large dollops of fresh elephant dung, proof that wild elephants were in the vicinity. I did not think his old Fiat would outrun an angry elephant and urged him to get a move on before nightfall. Vishal then held forth on the benefits of elephant dung and how it could be used to reinforce mud walls. I assured him that I would try it out on the walls of my study, which was in danger of falling down. Vishal was well ahead of his time. Only the other day, I read in one of our papers that elephant dung could be converted into good quality paper. Perhaps they will use it to make banknotes. Reserve Bank, please note. Other good drivers who have taken me here and there include Ganesh Saili, who is even better after a few drinks, Victor Banerjee, who is better before drinks, and young Harpreet, who is a fan of Kenny G's saxophone playing. On the road to Delhi with Harpreet, I had 6 hours of listening to Kenny G on tape. On my return, 2 days later, I had another 6 hours of Kenny G. Now I go into a frenzy whenever I hear a saxophone. My publisher has an experienced old driver who also happens to be quite deaf. He blares the car horn vigorously and without respite. When I asked him why he used the horn so much, he replied, "Well, I can't hear their horns, but I will make sure they hear mine." As good a reason as any. It is sometimes said that women don't make good drivers, but I beg to differ. Mrs. Biswas was an excellent driver, but a dangerous woman to know. Her husband had been a well known shikari and he kept a stuffed panther in the drawing room of his Delhi farmhouse. Mrs. Biswas spent the occasional weekends at her summer home in Landor. I had been to one or two of her parties, attended mostly by menfolk. One day, while I was loitering on the road, she drove up and asked me if I would like to accompany her down to Dehradun. I will come with you, I said, provided we can have a nice lunch at quality. So, down the hill we glided, and Mrs. Biswas did some shopping, and we lunched at quality and got back into her car and set off again, but in a direction opposite to Mussoorie and Landor. Where are we going? I asked. To Delhi, of course. Aren't you coming with me? I did not know we were going to Delhi. I don't even have my pyjamas with me. Don't worry, said Mrs. Biswas. My husband's pyjamas will fit you. He may not want me to wear his pyjamas, I protested. Oh, don't worry. He is in London just now. I persuaded Mrs. Biswas to stop at the nearest bus stop, bid her farewell, and took the bus back to Mussoorie. She may have been a good driver, but I had no intention of ending up stuffed alongside the stuffed panther in the drawing room. Thank you very much. Pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers of smaller vehicles scattered to left and right, often hurling abuse at my charioteer, who seemed immune to the most colorful invectives. Invectives, invectives, invectives means insulting and abusive language. Well, he hurried and he harried until at a railway crossing where we were forced to stop. Harried, Harried, harried means worried and angry. Unlike our car drivers, he was in no hurry to reach our destination and would stop every now and then in order to examine the footprints of elephants. He also pointed out large dollops of fresh elephant dung. Dollop, Dollop, dollop means a small amount. My publisher has an experienced old driver who also happens to be quite deaf. He blares the car horn vigorously and without respite. RESPATE, respite means a pause or rest from something difficult or unpleasant. Thank you very much.